All right, Sean, we're back at it this week here on the podcast. I got 10 myths for you that people still believe are true. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I'll let you tell us. But we'll go through and kind of handle these a little bit and let you play Mythbusters this week and see why these might be maybe dangerous to people's mindset if they're not careful. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm great, man. I'm great.
Yeah? Yeah, good. Always good to see you. You're always such a happy, smiley guy, so it's always good stuff. Well, we'll see how you're feeling after this. I'm going to dive in here and knock these out for you. All right. So the more a financial plan weighs, Sean, the more valuable it is. So if you go home from seeing your advisor with a big copy of War and Peace, it must be good.
It's got to be good, right? There's zero fluff in there. It's got every decision that you'd ever need to make financially. And that's where the true value comes. Now,
myth.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some pretty decent financial plans that are on 10. It's a 10-page plan.
Right.
We used to believe that, we had to print off this massive 3-ring binder of all these different things inside of plans, and that's just not the case. I mean, part of it is we went full digital, so our planning software is interactive, and our clients can like log in and see their plan in real time. But the truth of the matter is, it's like I have a trust, right? So my trust is this thick.
Right.
I've opened that trust when it gets reviewed. I don't need all of those pages. The pages that are important, there's probably 10 of them.
Yeah.
And I just need those pages, and my family needs to know those pages. And the financial plan is the same. As long as you got your income, your investments, your taxes, your healthcare, your estate planning at least solved, you're good. And maybe that's 5 pages, maybe it's 3. I don't think it could be 1, but I don't think
maybe an overview sheet, maybe on one. Yeah, maybe just like a quick overview sheet. But I think those days are done as well, right? Where it's like, and not to mention, if it's so big and fluffy that you're not opening it up and looking through it, are you actually going to be able to implement it and follow it, right? So people need something, especially in our busy, crazy world, that we can digest, understand, and implement, right?
Right.
Yeah. So definitely a myth. All right. Number 2, my life, you just talked about a trust. My life is so simple. A will is all I need. What do you think?
Yes and no. I mean, it depends, right? Like you have one kid and that kid's not going to fight with themselves for the property, and you're okay with, your house going through probate and stuff like that. Great. Like I had a conversation just today, Sean, my kids are being shits. Like I don't know if I can say that on here, but I did.
You did. That's fine.
And
YouTube won't. They shouldn't ding us too much for that.
But it's like I don't know I don't know what to do for my kids now because they're acting a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's when a trust probably comes into play. A will's not going to cover the kids fighting, but a trust will.
That's true. And don't forget, if you just have a will, you will go through probate. That was the easiest way I was taught to remember it, right? Yep. So if you don't want that, right, then it may be worthwhile. And you don't have to be a Rockefeller, Sean, to have a trust, right? You don't have to be worth billions or even millions. You just have to have stuff, right? Yeah. Exactly. So that is certainly something to keep in mind there. All right. Doing pretty well with these myths here so far. Number 3, my spouse will be fine when I'm gone. They'll only need half as much income as when I'm around. They might not like that idea. First of all, half as much.
Yeah. I mean, I look at our household spending right now and my wife handles all the spending. Okay. It's not because I don't spend money. It's that she handles our entire household, our kids, our food, everything. And so if I was gone, her income's not going to really change for a couple of reasons. 1, the expenses aren't going to go away. And 2,
I mean, some things go down, but not a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, my gas, or I'm the big ticket guy. Like if, so like the big ticket expenses are going to go away. But we've also got this change in our situation. If I died, of what would happen to her from a tax perspective. She goes from a married filing joint taxpayer to a single taxpayer, and that's going to cause a much larger tax bill for her than if I were alive. So yeah, expenses don't normally change; they shift. If you're a family that eats at home quite a bit, you go grocery shopping. Well, it's easy to go out to dinner when you're single.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, yeah, food budget may go down, right? But like, cable streaming services, they don't cut that stuff in half. Property taxes, they don't reduce that because there's only one person there now.
social life may go up a little bit because you don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
The money, what we've learned is that your income doesn't go down, it shifts.
Yeah. Yeah. True. It's a good point. And do you want your spouse to live a reduced lifestyle when you're gone? Probably not. Right. So again, this is a kind of an older myth too, I think. And I think a lot of these, Sean, probably came from a place where once upon a time they were accurate, but they aren't anymore. Right. Like this one, for example, when I retire, I need to dramatically shift from stocks to bonds. That definitely was a thing for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, because bonds could give a pretty consistent yield, create income for you. You're not as exposed. I still believe, like with inflation, though, you still want to have some growth. It doesn't mean that you need to be 100% in stocks or you need to be completely exposed, but dividend producing stocks are a nice alternative to the bond market.
I mean, the 60-40 is not as tried and true as it used to be. Right?
No, it's not. And I think that bonds have their place. I think individual stocks have their place. I think dividend producing stocks have their place. I think they all have their place. But what we have to remember is that if there's a rule of thumb, it's not always going to be 100% right for each and every individual.
Oh yeah.
What the rule of thumb may be for me may not be the same thing for you.
Yeah.
May not even hit your comfort level with what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. The bond market didn't even react like bonds until basically second half of 25. Right. I mean, for 3 or 4 years prior to that, they weren't doing so great. So
nope.
Again, probably a bit of a myth, maybe still some factualness in here somewhere, but every situation is going to be a little bit different. All right, doing pretty well. Number 5 here, Mythbuster. If the market crashes, I'll just stop spending until it comes back.
Totally. Sounds feasible.
So this makes me think of one of Ramsey's comments where he's like, 8% withdrawal is what forget the 4% rule. You should do 8% and be totally invested 100% in stocks. And it's like, okay, when the markets are good, maybe, because historically, the S&P will do 10%, year over year. But what happens when it doesn't? Am I eating ramen for a year? Like what are we doing?
Well, I mean, say that you need $100,000 a year or whatever it is that you need. Oh yeah, you could totally stop spending $100,000 a year if that's what your lifestyle is built around.
You could, but you wouldn't be happy. See the prior one about 50%, you wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
Right?
So I mean, the reality of it is that once you start to spend a certain amount, you don't want to go backwards, or most people don't want to go backwards.
Right. Now
you hit a certain level of spend. I want to stay right there. My lifestyle is comfortable. I get to do what I want to do. Maybe I can take the trips that I want to take. But if the market's down 30%, does that mean that my income reduces by 30%? And now I've got to tell my friends, hey, I can't do that weekend getaway because my plan was built to only do well in good markets.
Yeah.
Like, I'll see you next time.
Yeah. I can only go on trips during a good year.
Yeah.
All right. Or I can only go to a concert during a good year. And that's, again, can we survive? Absolutely. Is it the retirement we want? No. Right. So definitely want to stay away from that myth as well. And I think this one, once upon a time, Sean, this next one was probably true as well. Social Security will take care of most of my retirement income. Look, it's a big chunk of money, no doubt. Right. But I mean, can you get by on it? I've got family members that unfortunately, made some poor decisions and Social Security is all they have. They're surviving, but it's not what they wanted.
Right. It all comes down to that math problem. And, I tell people in a lot of cases, like, hey, if you have no debt and your expenses are low and maybe you're spending, $3,000 a month or whatever, and you're getting everything you want out of life, Social Security is probably going to cover it. But if you're wanting to travel, you're wanting to entertain, you want to do some things, Social Security is probably not going to cover it unless you're a really high wage earner through the bulk of your life, and then your Social Security benefits are pretty high. You're going to want to most likely supplement. Now, could you get away with just Social Security? Yeah, potentially. But it all comes down to that need versus source discussion. what do I need? What do I want to live on versus what's coming in? And if those numbers align, great. Then Social Security is probably fine. But in most cases, we see Social Security not being all the income need. It's a supplement or a complement to what you need.
And then there's the freedom conversation of that, right? Do you want to feel as though when the government makes a decision, like see our last podcast about, COLAs and so on and so forth, that's going to affect you greater or less because you're really at their disposal because it's Social Security only, right? So,
right.
Having other income streams and having a good strategy put in place is a lot about freedom too, not just about, here comes the government's money type of deal. And I know it's our money technically, but you know what I'm saying. So,
right.
All right, number 7. I'll be in a much lower tax bracket when I retire. Again, playing Mythbusters, this probably was true once upon a time.
It could still be true, but if your income is so, we've actually started to build more plans recently that are based off of current take home.
Okay.
So, if we currently need $100,000 a year, 120, 150, whatever it is, we want to maintain that lifestyle. And so in that case, your tax bracket's not going to go down. I mean, it'll go down a little bit because of Social Security and stuff like that.
Right.
But there's not going to be a huge reduction from a tax perspective if your plan is built off of your current income needs rather than what you think your expenses are going to be.
Yeah. And most people find that they wind up in the same tax bracket as their final working years.
Yeah.
That's where most people end up being, is in the same, not necessarily lower. It's not like I've made this comment before, but I mean, it's not like, the days of when you get a gold watch with a pension. Unfortunately, as cool as it might sound, when we get to 65, they don't just go, hey, guess what? For being 65 and retiring, here's your Social Security, and here's a lower tax bracket for life.
Right.
Unfortunately, that doesn't work that way.
You're going to be able to live forever.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. So, got to strategize, got to plan. All right. Number 8, I don't need a written plan, Sean, because I know my numbers.
I mean, I can look at my bank account and tell you what I think I'm going to get.
Right. Knowing your balance is not the same as having a strategy, because we have a collection of stuff. I think that's where people get confused, right?
Right.
Like, what if you got 9 or 10 pieces of different things and you're like, okay, I got a retirement plan.
No, look at all these accounts I have. What could go wrong? Like I've saved enough.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's not accumulating. It's how do you distribute that money? And how do you distribute it efficiently? How do you tie in your investment accounts or your retirement accounts with your Social Security, what your income needs are, what sort of investments are you going to use? Like there are a lot of different components to a retirement income plan.
Yeah.
Right? It's been like, hey, I got 800 grand in the bank. I'm going to pull out 5% a year, and that's going to last me, 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could do that.
Yeah, we could. Depending on what you want to do, there may be nothing left. If we have some bad markets, that could take a hit. What are you looking about with IRMA taxation on Social Security or on your Medicare, right? I mean, there's all these different kinds of wrinkles that play into it.
Yep.
So, again, this is why we talk about all the time, Sean, that everybody's gets affected by the same stuff, right? Income needs, Social Security, taxation, healthcare issues. We all get affected by these universal things, but how everybody's individual puzzle pieces go together is different from person to person, right? So, all right, I can always work longer if things don't go well. If things go south, I can always go back to work if I need to. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's hard to get the job market is hard right now. And
my mom's 84. I can't see her right now going back to her old job of being a professional entertainer and being on stages every night for 5 hours a night, right? She's not
probably not.
Right.
The jobs are different, right? Like my grandfather in Wyoming was awesome. Like, and at the time when I was a kid, it seemed like he had made it. He had worked in the mines. He had retired, and then he went to work at the Civic Center at night as as a janitor. And then he honestly probably should have been like the town greeter, because I could always find him at the mall, just like watching people and talking to people. Right. But he wasn't going to go back to work. I mean, he
wouldn't go back to the mines for sure.
No,
right?
Not a chance.
Right. Yeah.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
But he could have been a greeter. I mean, he was that was his job anyways, without getting paid or without being employed, because everybody knew where to find him. And
Isn't that a joke they had for a while? It's like, well, if things go bad, could always be a Walmart greeter. But I think they got rid of that. I think they got rid of that position too, actually. So
yeah, I don't know.
but it's like, look, could you maybe go back to work if things went south? Yes, maybe, right? But I mean, your health, the job market, who knows, right? Tons of things could get in the way. And again, back to these other questions, is this the retirement you wanted? I mean, I don't think so for most people. Like, like your grandfather, pretty sure he didn't want to go back to the mines. So
no, he went and did the things that he wanted to do because he wanted to do it.
Yeah. And he could too. Yeah. So, all right, final one here, Sean. Once I retire, my financial decisions get easier. This one's a little tricky, I feel.
I agree. I think the decisions change. I don't know that they become easier.
Yeah.
Because once you retire, then you're kind of on that tail phase of life. And now you don't have to, you're not worried as much about, okay, how do I create my incomes? How do I get money in? It's what do I do next?
Like, I feel like they're more I feel like they're more intertwined in some strange way in retirement than they are when we're accumulating, right? I mean, you're 40, you're working, you've got a clear-cut set of bills, you know what you're putting away for, you know what's coming in, right? And you're just trying to accumulate. But when you get to retirement, I feel like, yes, in a way, they're kind of, you would think they would be easier, I guess. In the top of your head, you think, okay, good, I should have less decisions to make. But there's a lot more interplay happening between those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to make the wrong decision on taxes or withdrawals, stuff like that, because that affects you. But now you're starting to become a steward of your assets. And I'm the steward of, I built this nest egg, and okay, if I do things right, I can create a massive impact on my family down the road.
Yeah.
If I do things wrong, it can cause unnecessary taxation or, infighting, whatever it may be. So I think those decisions become a little bit more difficult just because of the impact of others you can have on your decision making.
Yeah. Well, here's where I think that it's really tricky. The question's tricky, I should say. Do they get easier in retirement? I think if you work with somebody, they can, right? Because now the load gets taken off of you. Hey, I'm paying you guys to handle all the intricacies. Hit me with the stuff, which again, the annual reviews, the conversation pieces, stuff like that. So in that regard, maybe it does get easier, right? But if you're trying to DIY it, I definitely don't think it's any easier.
Agreed.
So yeah.
Agreed.
So if you got some questions, need some help, reach out to Sean and the team. Get onto the calendar at elevatemyretirement.com. We'll have links in the show descriptions below. Again, elevatemyretirement.com. If there's a financial myth out there that you've heard a lot and you want us to talk about it, or you just want to chat, put it in the comments down below here on YouTube, and we'll fire back at you there and get that conversation rolling. But reach out to Sean, elevatemyretirement.com, and don't forget to subscribe to us while you're on YouTube, by the way. Hit that thumbs up and notification bell, or on the audio versions on Apple or Spotify. And we'll see you next time here on Retirement Elevated. Sean, thanks for hanging out, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
We'll see you next time right here on the podcast with Sean Lee.
This podcast has been prepared for educational and marketing purposes only. The information in this video is general in nature, does not constitute personalized investment advice, and does not provide a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. All investments involve risk, and different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk. There can be no assurance that any specific investment strategy will be profitable or suitable to you. Additionally, although information presented in this podcast is believed to be factual and up to date, we do not guarantee its accuracy. You should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation, and should consult a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies mentioned in this video. Investment advisory services are offered through Elevated Capital Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC. Registration as an investment advisor does not constitute an endorsement of Elevated Capital Advisors LLC by securities regulators, nor does it indicate that the firm has attained a particular level of skill or ability. Insurance advice and products may be offered by a third-party insurance producer, which may be affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC and Elevated Capital Advisors LLC. Walter Storholt, Mark Killian, and Third Wheel Media LLC are not clients of Elevated Capital Advisors. They receive cash compensation for their assistance in preparing and hosting this podcast, and for providing the endorsement contained in this podcast. Because Walter, Mark, and Third Wheel Media are compensated in connection with this podcast, they have a material conflict of interest in providing their endorsement.